May I speak in the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. 6 months ago, at the start of Advent, we were setting out on our annual remembrance of the gift of God incarnate. That is, the human birth, life, death, and resurrection of God's Son in human form. This is a gift that changes the world. And in saying changes, that is the present tense, here and now, I'm trying to make sense of two realities. The first is conveyed to us in the opening verses of John's Gospel. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. What has come into being in him was life. This is the reality that what we label as the image of God has always resided in life. The whole created order is the work of a loving and willful God. Emphatically, not an autocrat, but one who loves what he has created and longs for his creation to follow in his way of love. So what he has done is given us his Son continually to bring the kingdom of heaven to life in us and with us. The second reality is well expressed in the prayer of thanksgiving with which we have been opening morning prayer in these waiting days between Ascension Day and today. Blessed are you, Creator God, to you be praise and glory forever. As your Spirit moved over the face of the waters, bringing light and life to your creation, pour out your Spirit on us today, that we may walk as children of light and by your grace reveal your presence. What this is saying is that God's Holy Spirit is the medium through which God's love is conveyed to his created order, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Now, these realities outside time give us the context for the gospel reading that we have just heard. We now are invited to enter into that house whose doors were locked for fear of the Jews, and be with those disciples on that first day of the week in order to be commissioned by Jesus with them. As the Father has sent me, so I send you. Receive the Holy Spirit. So, 50 days on from that scene, what, you might ask, is this day of Pentecost all about? Well, it dramatically marks the culmination of everything that we've been remembering these last 6 months. Though we read in the Gospels of specific occasions when the risen Jesus appears to his disciples, we are also told that he appeared to many others over those 40 days before his ascension. Fresh seeds of God's Spirit were being widely sown. John had baptized with water, but the risen Jesus was promising baptism with the Holy Spirit, as he put it, not many days from now. And here we are, 10 days on that promised day, with Peter praying in aid to the prophet Joel, who had declared maybe 600 years earlier that God would be pouring out his Spirit upon all flesh. We are called on now to rejoice that the expectations that we've been kindling through these days since Ascension have burst into flame. They are no longer expectations. They are calls to action. And action in a prospectively very different world from the one that's gone before just recently. to hang on to and promote those things that have been good about these strange lockdown times, while at the same time releasing to new life all whose livelihoods and well-being have been damaged. These are big questions which I won't take time now to explore, still less to answer. Rather, perhaps, our initial response to God's call to action in the power of his Spirit might be to pay more attention to the little things that we can do in obedience to God's will, as exemplified for us in the life and ministry of Jesus. Many of those things came up in the litany of actions that our Archdeacon John Kiddle took us through in his reflections on the road to Emmaus in the 2 weeks up to Ascension Tide. Each reflection concluded with a call to action. And if you want to see them all, his series does remain available on the website of our Diocese of Suffolk. But let me mention just a few. Share a journey with someone by walking alongside them and listening. Have a conversation infused with light and love and humour. Offer an invitation to someone that might give rise, either literally or metaphorically, to breaking bread with thanks and generosity. Celebrate and build community. Yes, this is in a way a hackneyed statement, but I think it has new meaning in these physically distancing times. It might involve no more than catching someone's eye and smiling. And finally, help someone find the gift that God is holding out for them. This last challenges our faith, but step out in faith we must. And while I said a moment ago that I wasn't going to explore those big questions that the pandemic is posing, let's not overlook the fact that we do have time now, while lockdown lasts, to see where God's will for the world might be leading us. And there is one feature that surely we all appreciate, and that is the clearer air that a distinctly slower pace of global warming has given us. Is it too much to hope that a new urgency of intent and action to harness global warming might emerge in these coming months, ahead of the postponed worldwide climate change conference in Glasgow next year? I'm sure that you will have other priorities in your own minds for building on the good features that we have found emerging through these times. Pursuit of them will call for that mixture of prayer and action that are the hallmarks of the working of God's will for the world that he loves, and of which he has made us his stewards. So, in the power of the Spirit and in union with Christ, let us steadfastly pray to the Father. Amen.